Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's try Divinity Dragon Commander. It's by Larian Studios. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. They also made Divine Divinity, Beyond Divinity, and Divinity 2. Though I've never had a chance to play those. I believe they're RPGs. Very different than what we are about to play, at least that is my understanding. It's going to be available August 6th on Windows. You can purchase it from Steam for $39.99. You can also buy it from the developer's website, which I would generally encourage if you can. It's the same price, it's DRM free, and it does come with a Steam key. So if you can buy it from the dev website, that helps them out because it gets them more money and it gives you a Steam key, so that's great. It also has trading cards for those of you who are into that kind of thing, and I hate to admit it, but I kind of am. Now, you have a single player campaign. You can also do skirmishes, and we'll get into the gameplay in just one second, but it does have multiplayer as well. I won't be covering multiplayer in this video, but I will be talking about it because I did get to do one match with one of the developers, and it was actually quite a lot of fun. So anyway, let's do the single player first. Story, actually wait, can I just load the game? Yes, we can. We'll go with the first. I actually saved this a bit ago. I just wanted to show you both sides. This game has RTS side, and then it's got the turn-based strategy side. The story in a nutshell is that you're a half-dragon. The previous king was killed by his children. Now, he was your father, actually. Basically, you're his bastard son between him and, obviously, a dragon. His normal children all backstabbed him and took over the kingdom. I guess they're warring over the kingdom now. And you want to reunite all of the kingdoms in peace and harmony. And of course, you have that really small advantage of being a dragon with a jetpack on your back, which actually comes in pretty handy. It's taking quite a while to load here. Normally it doesn't take this long. Probably just the first time I've loaded it today. But yeah, I like the combination of both. You need to manage your kingdom as you try to take over new areas, but you also have to deal with diplomatic things that come up. So for example, you have basically you have multiple races, and you have a council which comprises or represents each race. So this guy, well, actually he's one of our generals. We can't go to the chamber room right now because there's nothing we need to do. But there's dwarves, elves, the undead, etc., and they all have different belief systems, different values, and choices will come up, such as healthcare. Like, should we pay money for miners that are injured on the job, or should we make them take care of it themselves? And based on your decision, this will make some groups happy, it will make other groups unhappy, and that will affect how hard it is for you to take over other countries, and basically represents the support that any race gives you. So these NPCs will move about sometimes. This is the main bridge area. We'll go ahead and talk to Edmund here.
When Catherine is out of sorts, there seems to be no escaping her ire, Commander. I do understand her, though, for whilst equality among the civilized races is not to be found, I do uphold that women are every bit as capable as men, provided they are lizards.
One very interesting thing I have found about the campaign, the characters, and the dialogue that comes up, the developers are addressing issues in this world that parallel some that we are facing now in our real world. It doesn't get very deep, so if you're expecting something to be politically preachy, I don't think this is going to really do that. At least it hasn't so far. I'm about an hour and a half into the campaign. It hasn't done that so far. There is obviously a slight bias when they're talking about, for example, at one point you have to determine whether you want to allow gay marriage or not, and the different members of your council will give different opinions, and there does seem to be a slight bent towards the people who are against gay marriage to kind of come off as being intolerable jerks, but it's not overkill, right? It's not completely overdone in my opinion. And I have to say, I have to give them the balls for doing this, especially some of the dialogue. For example, one of the council members who is against gay marriage will flat out like call them fairies and other things, and most developers would not have the gumption to do that. So I applaud them for being very in your face about how this would probably play out in reality. And I realize I'm talking to a giant lizard man in a suit, but you know what I mean. This guy's kind of interesting because he's a lizard person. You can see he dresses really nice, he talks really nice, And he is a racist in that he hates all other races, as in humans, dwarves, etc., which is kind of why he made that comment here. And the woman he's talking about is not her, but another character, which again I think is very interesting. She is a very apparent misandrist. She does not like men. She actually here she is. She actually comes from a society where women are in charge and men just do the menial labor. So she's very, very sexist against men. So again, I really like some of these interesting choices. I absolutely would not expecting that in this type of game. But if you are hyper tolerant or hyper intolerant to such things, keep it in mind.
Queen again. I'd show you how to run the realm good and proper.
Obviously, we are playing as the half-son. So let's get into the gameplay, shall we? You have these different rooms which are focused on different things. The bar is more for finding out story elements, but you have the research area here. This is to learn additional dragon abilities. And we'll get to the RTS section in just a moment. But in a nutshell, this is how you can improve your dragon. You get research points based on how many land you have, how much research that land is generating, etc. Same goes for gold. Gold based on how many land you have, how much gold it generates. Then you can use that money to buy troops or research things. And with the research, you can research one of two main areas. You can either improve your dragon form, or you can go to the engineering bay, which I think it's a bit odd. The engineering bay has a beaker on it, but you can also research new unit types. Like you can see here, I get new turrets. These more expensive ones are, obviously stronger. In unit types, you can also get upgrades to your units. So, for example, I have the Grenadier unlocked. I can unlock this chemical warfare so they shoot corrosive acid. Now, right now, I've only got 8 research points. Now, let's go ahead and actually buff our dragon. I think that would help quite a bit. I found from the multiplayer that the dragon buffs are actually very useful. Now, these you can't buy until later in the story. I'm only on chapter 1 right now, so you shouldn't really get any story spoilers here. We will go with... We'll go with Blood Leech. Whenever you damage an enemy, 30% of the damage done gets added to your life force. Go ahead and do that. Don't know how wise that is, but regardless, I've picked it anyway. So now let's really get into the RTS section. And I will show you some of the more realm ruling political stuff next turn. Hopefully I don't get completely demolished here. So I only own these 2 areas. I've actually had quite a bit of difficulty playing this up until now. I'm on medium difficulty, and I have gotten my butt handed to me several times. You definitely need to be careful of the starting areas. And I will say, the beginning of the game is a little rough because it doesn't tell you what you need to do. It just there is tutorial type messages, but by the time you get into the airship, the Raven that you're in, it's kind of like, okay, here you go, figure it out. So it took me a while to figure out that I was supposed to click on that globe and then do things here and then in turn. So that could be used, stand to be explained a little bit better. Yeah, hopefully this will help folks who are interested in the game, though. All right, so let's, for funsies, you can look at the map and see, okay, this land right here currently has no troops in it. Neither does this. However, if you look over here, he's got these troops here that he could easily move in if I decide to take it over. However, I want to go ahead and try to take this over. I actually think I used to own it. So we're going to move our troops over. I've got a stack of 3. And I'm going to move... Oh, the Grenadier is out of movement points, so I can't move him over. And I'm out of money. So, let's see, we've done everything we need to do. We've used our research. This shows you, by the way, how many research points you're going to get next round. This shows you how much gold you're going to get next round. And at the top shows you how much you had to spend. So I'm obviously out of gold, out of research to actually spend. I'm on turn 8 of the game. There's also these cards. Almost forgot about this. These cards you can play, depending on the situation, either play now during the strategic phase or before you get into a battle with the RTS phase, which we will probably getting into very shortly. You can also hover over the maps, and at the very bottom it'll show you the population, their entrenchment. Entrenchment indicates how entrenched that army is. So the higher that percentage, the harder it is to take over that country. The research shows you how much research they're generating, gold, and wait, this is total population. What is this? support. Determines the maximum amount of units you can produce during combat. So support is based on, my understanding is based on how well the race who dominates there supports you. So this goes back to making decisions with your council. You want to make, like for example, I've been trying to make the elves happy because so far pretty much all the lands I want to take are elf dominated, and you can see the elf portrait here. So I've been trying to make them very happy, and I've been pissing off the undead in the process. But at any rate, let's go ahead and click in turn. You'll see our moves, and we'll see the enemy's moves. We might take this over without a fight. Oh, nope, we will not. He transported some units over. You can also skip these that's showing you what the enemy's doing. You can skip this if you'd like. In fact, I will go ahead and do that now. Okay, so it looks like we did not get into a fight. Now, this Rivellon Times newspaper comes up and tells you what's going on. Men and women to have equal wages. Hope they get a concussion slamming through the glass ceiling, shouts Sir Silvervein. By popular demand, Emperor authorizes production of own action figure. Some of these are there just for amusement. Nobility does not imply noble. The dragon dabbles in blood magic. And again, you can see here our approval ratings. The lizard and the elves love us. The undead and the dwarves and the imps, not so much. But right now it doesn't matter a lot because all the lands we're trying to take over and defend are elf lands. Okay, and let's see. I generated some cards. You generate cards either by performing certain actions or making certain decisions. For example, you know, allowing gay marriage or putting additional tax, whatever. Or also certain buildings that you can create on the map will also generate cards over time. So you can see we got a combat card, which gives us units advantage, and a strategy card, sabotage. Devastators in a selected country won't be able to move this round. So if you know an enemy is coming to attack you and they have this type of unit, or if you want to take over a land that's next to another one that has this type of unit, you can play this card on that map so they can't move those enemies into your section. See, your general's actions have influenced the empire. Catherine and Scarlet's wages have increased. Scarlet has gained a level in patient. Catherine has gained a level in light unit specialist. The generals are important because at any given time, you can only control one round, one session of battle. So let's say that you've got two lands opposite each other. Let's just show you just for... I promise I'll get into the gameplay in just a second. Let's say that let's say we're being attacked here and here. If I decide I'm going to command my armies here, if I'm being attacked here, I have to choose one of my generals to take over that battle. So your generals do have attributes. However, I don't really understand how they work, to be honest. Let's go talk to our
Commander. The war
Council.
is displacing a great many people, and thus the influx of a great many foreigners into the realm is inevitable. Many of them are driven to crime by want or ill will. To that effect, I propose that if a foreigner is found guilty of an offense, he or she should be deported immediately. Delinquency is on the rise, and we need a few effective deterrents to curb its proliferation.
Okay, so our dwarf, each race represents a different ideal, basically. The undead are very religious, which seems kind of amusing to me. The elves are very liberal. They're very human. They're very people-loving. I won't say human because they're not human. They care about the people. They also care about the earth. The dwarves are very money-centric. They focus on the economy. These lizard people kind of mostly neutral. They seem to be a little moral, but in the most part, they seem to be neutral-ish. The imps care about science and advancement through technology. We'll talk to a few of these. You can always, anytime there's a decision that you need to make, you can talk to any of your council members, and they'll tell you exactly what they're thinking. And it will let you know how it will affect them. So let's talk to Yorick.
Foreign criminals seem to abound like sand on the beach these days, Commander. Let's be rid of them like Falstaff suggests. In fact, the sea would be as good a border as any to make them cross. Yes, let them drown for their misdeeds.
Okay, and we'll also talk to the elf guy.
Many criminals inhabit our realm, Commander. Such is the unpleasant reality. Some of them are domestic, some of them are foreign. Punish them when they are caught. but do not make the distinction.
Okay. So again, I'm not going to go through every one, but that's generally how this works. And now I can either vote up or vote down on will you deport foreign criminals. Because I'm really wanting the elves to like me, and because they're for this, or I'm sorry, this is they're against deporting foreign criminals, I'm going to vote against it.
Leniency leads to lawlessness, Commander. I had hoped you'd spare your populace from such nuisances as pickpockets and highwaymen. To no avail, it seems.
And afterwards, you can talk to each NPC and they'll tell you what they think.
Continue to be soft of heart, Commander, and you'll soon find it pierced by a common interloper out for what coin he can find. By refusing to set any examples, you're allowing godless foreigners to pillage and murder amongst us. Don't you realize it's a crime to tolerate crime?
Okay, so I really like the political aspect because taking over and ruling a kingdom isn't just about physically taking over everything. You obviously do have to deal with the people and their opinions. So we've gotten, let's see, we're up to 9 research points, just for grins. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the engineering bay. And I could really use more units. I can only pick one of these. Warlock is strong against air units and ironclads. Sure, we'll go ahead and pick that. And we will go back to the bridge. And finally, we will get to the RTS elements, which, fair warning, I'm terrible at RTS. Now, I actually thought, to be fair, I thought we were going to get into RTS a little bit earlier. But at any rate, let's go ahead. We're going to try to take over this place. My public opinion there is 60. The enemy country is entrenched. The higher a country's entrenchment level, the better defended it is against invading armies. So there's a pretty decent chance I'm going to lose this. Just fair warning. And tell you what we'll do. Again, just since this is for demonstration purposes, I would not advise this. Otherwise, I'm going to move my 5 troopers over there as well to try to take that over. So we are done for the round, so let's hit end turn. And again, we're going to just skip the replay. Now, you see there's 3 battles. One, they're trying to take over my capital. If you lose your capital, you have 1 round to take it back. And if you don't take it back, you lose the game. However, the same goes for the computer as well, I believe. And it also goes for multiplayer. I'm pretty sure. So we have 3 battles here. Once we have battles, at the bottom right, this will change to go to battle. Now, we have 81% chance to lose, which isn't great odds. I want to see if we can switch to a different map. Show map, maybe? Yeah, I think we have to pick. So let's pick one where we're not going to get completely devastated. Again, we can pick play cards here to up our chances. Let's say if I want to... Your grenades have a 50% more hit points. Actually, let's do this. I'll play this card, which actually helped our chances quite a bit. And we'll play this card too. 49%. And we're going to pick a general to do this one for us. And when you pick a general, it's auto-resolved. In other words, you have no direct control over it. She's a light unit specialist, which I've mostly got light units. She's defensive and patient. He is heavy and medium units, which I don't really have a lot of. Tactical genius and offensive. See, again, they have these things like fearsome. I don't know what fearsome does. I don't know what tactical genius does. So I don't know where to see that. So we're going to actually pick Scarlet, which actually increases our chances by 51%. Oh, he's 58. Actually, let's go with Henry since that gives us the best chance, even though I don't quite understand why, but whatever. So we'll go ahead and say ready. And you'll see the battle kind of take place here. Oh, we're getting low. Come on, Henry. Oh, looks like Henry's about to lose this for us. Yes, he did. Thanks, Henry. So as you can see, we lost a lot of units, and they had 3 survivors. So we lost that. All right, the battle for Orcha. Wow, this is also a slaughter. Wait, so that's strange. So we can't... Oh, I guess because this is the capital city, we have to take control here. we will go ahead and you also have dragon cards which you could use, which gives your dragon additional powers for this one battle. So we're going to just go ahead and go all out here, since this will be the only other battle we do. And we're probably still going to lose. But see, we're ready to go. Yeah, this is going to be a bloodbath. So we now need to drag our abilities down here. Breathing fire upon activation, your fireballs do 100% more damage. To dragons, medium and heavy units for 13 seconds. We'll put that at the end. Advance, already got devastation. Permanently increase the damage of your primary attack. That's a passive, so we'll put it at the bottom. So you do have passive and active skills. Active you use whenever you want. They have cooldowns just by pressing the button. And then passives are just always active. But because you have a passive, you still have to have it in your bar. Otherwise, it would be pretty broken. You could just buy a ton of passives that were always active. But anyway, that should do it. We're probably going to get our asses kicked thoroughly here. But we'll try to have fun. Anyway, the controls do take a little bit to get used to. You are going to want to learn your hotkeys, because while in your dragon form, you can't really click on anything. To take control of your army, for example, you need to hit F2 for the or F2 is all your units. F3 is your nearby units. Now, one thing I was also told, let me try it now. Oh, was I think you can slow down combat, but I'm not really doing it very well. So first things first, we've got these things. These are green,
Construction underway, Commander.
which means we control them. So we need to control as many of these areas as possible.
No mountain can stop us.
So these are recruitment citadels. Recruitment citadels are how you get new troops,
It'll be built
or
in a jiffy.
think of them as gold or something like that in StarCraft. It's the resource you spend to make units, if that makes sense. So for example, if I wanted to make a trooper, I need 3 recruits. It also takes support.
Battleforge
Support
completed.
is, in a nutshell, the most units that you can make. So if I had 400 support worth of units, I could not make any more, period. So let's make some
Units
troopers
being
to start with.
manufactured, Commander.
And you can bind buildings and units to hotkeys,
Battleforge
which you will
completed.
want to do, absolutely. So I've
The
got
Emperor's enemy is my enemy.
some troopers over here. Let's go ahead
The
and move them.
grave be their destiny.
So the first thing I want to do is grab these resource nodes. Now this guy is slowly grabbing this one. He does grab them, or does claim them faster if you have more units. So let's make a lot of troopers at first. These troopers are your basic light units. And I'm going to highlight all these guys and assign them to a key. I need to change my bind point. Okay.
Construction
We want
underway,
recruitment
Commander.
centers fast, fast, fast. Because we really want to be pumping out troops. Because the computer does not F around.
Construction in progress.
I would strongly advise, unless you are
Built in a jiffy.
really good at RTSs, which again I am
Out of
not,
recruits, Commander.
then I would suggest playing this on easy. If I had known easy was hard, I would have started that. Okay, we've only got enough for one factory. I'm going to go ahead and set its bind point over here. There's no fog of war. You can see they're already starting to head this way.
Completed.
I don't really have any good units against the basic troopers, except obviously more
Unit will
troopers.
soon be ready.
This game seems to be very, very strong about, or very focused on making sure you have the right counter units.
Construction underway,
Because if you
Commander.
just try to make any type of unit
Recruitment
and just
citadel
A-move them in, at least as the level that I am on,
Factory completed.
which is not even that far in, you are going to have a bad time. Okay, let's go ahead and move these guys and intercept them before they try to come into our base. You can also build turrets. Now, there's some already here, but you can only build them on these pre-designated spots.
We're under attack, but we will
So we're
hold
kind of
our
split up, but that's not a big deal. We definitely want them to stop them. So let's keep making units. I'm going to make some shaman.
manufactured, Commander.
3 shamans should be fine.
Your
Gonna
unit will
make
soon
some
be
more
ready.
grenadiers. See if any of these guys are good against troopers. Fast medium class
factory
units.
completed.
That's highly effective against light class units. So
Unit
let's
is being
make some
manufactured,
hunters
Commander.
because we really need to make anti trooper force right now.
Bring me the spoils of war.
Also, if you've played EverQuest, if you've played
Die now.
StarCraft like I have, I keep pressing A to attack move, but it's actually Q.
No mountain can stop us.
And you'll understand that here. Now, I'll switch to Dragon form in a minute. You cannot switch to Dragon form right out of the start gate. but you can do it later on, like now, and it will tell you when you can't. So I'm reassigning my bind points. Again, sorry, I'm trying to do all this at once, and I am not very good at multitasking. If you're good at RTS, this is the phase you're going to really enjoy the most. So far, I've liked it. I like the you can't just send troops in. Alright, so now I'm going to switch to dragon form. Now I can buff my troops, even though I really don't have any abilities to do that yet. So I'm going to pick all of my units. I hit F2, and you can see I am taking damage. I want to sneak around over here. The maps stay the same based on the country you're attacking. So you saw the country I was attacking before. Every time I attack this country, defend it, it will look the same. Now, I need to make more units. As you can see at the top here, this is my recruits. I'm stockpiling those, and this, I should not be doing that. So let me go ahead and set the bind points, and I'm going to start making more grenadiers, maybe some warlocks. You guys need to... Oh, never mind. Okay, this is another battle forge. Again, I'm going to bind that to 1 and put my rally point right here. You can move the camera like this. Oh god. Alright, let's move these guys back a bit. A little bit more of a defensive position. Give me more, also gives me some time for my troops to move on up, the ones that I keep making. Oh. The camera throws me off sometimes here. I didn't set this. There we go.
Don't be pushy. Your unit will soon be ready.
Go ahead and make a bunch of units, and that looks like we're still don't have enough. So let's make some troopers. Trying to keep it mixed up. Again, you can see the AI is kind of accidentally sending a few troops at a time, which is great by me. I love that. Oop, let's go ahead and change the bind points. Again, I apologize for not being that great at these. I'm going to make some of these warlocks. I don't really know how good they are against this unit composition, but let's go ahead and bind all of these guys to 3 again. Alright, so now we're going to get to a battle. I'm going to switch to dragon form. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a damage buff. Try to take these guys out more. You can also see the shaman, the flying zeppelins, are healing me, which is great. You can also dodge, but to be honest, it's a little hard to see their missiles. So it's often very difficult to dodge. Sometimes I'll just kind of hold it until I think the missiles are gone. And especially when I'm getting blood splatter on my screen, it's definitely can be very difficult. Now, here's a problem. I'm focusing a lot on my dragon here, but I'm not making new units. You can see my recruits going up and up and up. So this is a problem. So what I want to do is kind of fire off a few more shots here. I can take these guys out because they don't have any anti-air. Now this is a resource center for the enemy. I want to take all my units, say, hey, you guys attack. Q is attack. Switch out of dragon form. Go back to my bound keys. Focus them. Oops, did not mean to do that. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to use this camera. And we're going to make some more units. And see, make more of these. And troopers. We're running out of troopers. Now, one thing that does become a problem, the shamans sometimes have a tendency to get too into the battle. So they'll run to their deaths. So you do want to watch them, because your shaman are pretty valuable with the heals. Oh, and your dragon fire does have a cooldown. So keep an eye on that as well. Now I know I've got a lot of troops coming, so what I'm going to do is fly back with our jetpack and use this buff to make them fly fast or run faster, and then come back to the combat. So I really like the dragon aspect. Unfortunately, I clicked off the screen. Oh no, that was actually a Windows thing. Sorry about that. Clicking back in. I really like the dragon aspect. I hope they're not dying here. Alright, let's use our damage buff here. Now, the enemy can sometimes seem to just spawn a ton of enemies. Now, you can also see a turret there, just barely. I'm actually going to take it out because I've got the damage buff. But you also have a buff which allows you to disable enemy machinery, which is pretty damn nice. You can see I'm getting nailed a lot, but because I've got those healers on me, it's helping quite a bit. And you can see that we're taking over some of these buildings. So what I'm gonna do is switch out of dragon form and actually build a turret there. And I'm going to move these guys over here so that we can take over these turrets and use them against the enemy. Yep, let's see. Do that. Oh, and I need to make more troops. So again, set my bind points. We're gonna make more armors and more hunters, and build a lot more troopers because we're doing really good right now. We just want to keep them held. Switch back to dragon form. Do a little bit of death. Oh, my damage buff is back up. So let's start. Oh, we're getting a little low on health there. So we're getting very low on health. Something's doing a ton of damage. There's some anti-air turrets over there. Let's take out this building. And as soon as you take the building out, you can start trying to capture that spot, which is really nice. Oop, again, taking a lot of damage. So I'll just kind of stay back here, focus on the building. And again, while we're in this mode, we can still select our units. So I hit F2 and I hit Q, and they will attack. Oh god, they will attack wherever I have targeted. Oh, and I died. So there is a slight timer on when you can come back. Let's go ahead and build these tanks. There is a timer on how quickly you can come back. But you can, but it takes your recruits. So keep that in mind. I've also got a debuff which will disable turrets. So you definitely want to take those AE out quick. So since I just keep dying anyway, let's just smoke more units. More units sounds good. You can see these armors are really good at taking buildings out. So I'm hoping they take the turrets out quickly. Yep. All right. Looks like we've actually won this somehow. Again, I'm going to make these into turrets so you can turn them right on the enemy. That is a huge pain. I can tell you from experience that trying to defend a position and then having them take it over and then immediately start turning it into a turret is it can be a real kick in the face, to say the least. So we're about to win this. You don't have to destroy everything. Once their army is 10% or less, they have 1 minute to build, or they lose. So we've got this building over here. I think we've... Look at the map. Oh, there actually is a few enemies over here. That's actually mostly troopers. I can tell from the icon. They look kind of like raptors. So I'm actually just going to devastate them. They do have one anti-air. Oh, no, they got two. And not anymore, they don't. And I'm going to call my troops by hitting F2 and pressing Q. And now they will come. I overheated. You can only fire your weapon so much. You can see the cursor in the middle, the circle, as it gets like wider and wider. That means I'm running out of steam. And you can see on the map, my troops are heading this way to back me up. So we'll be winning this very, very shortly, assuming no major catastrophes.
We're getting pinned.
Oh, I can't. That sound means that I've overused my thing. Yep, victory will be ours in 1 second. I'm actually very surprised we won that. I'm getting kind of the hang of the RTS, but be warned, unless you're really good at RTS, I strongly advise you might want to start on easy, because they do kind of throw you in, and losing those first few battles can be both morally and strategically devastating. So just waiting on it to load, because we still have the one other battle, but we're going to actually assign our general to it. Or wait, no, we don't. Yeah, we do. Oh, okay. So I don't understand why we can't send a general, since maybe you can only pick one general to command one battle. If so, that seems really strange. Like, what's the point of having multiple? Well, I guess I can see the point of having multiple generals. But why is one general leading an army, making it so none of the others can lead a different army? So I don't quite understand that. 91% chance of losing this. Needless to say, this is not going to go well. We'll use the Imperial Army and auto-resolve. Actually, let's retreat. I don't know what penalties. Oh, okay, you do lose some troops when you retreat. So it's better than losing all of them. So here's our paper. Emperor refuses tough stance on crime. Citizens victim of lackluster politics. It's a fluke. Emperor scores haphazard hits. And new airship to be piloted by scrawny mages. Not exactly known for their physical prowess, arduous flight training reported to be somewhat homicidal but utterly hilarious. So again, you can see our Poles have changed a little bit. The elves like us a little bit more. The elves like us, or the lizards like us a bit more, but the dwarves and undead really not too happy with us. Imps like us a bit more too. So, and again, NPCs will pop up in different places and you can talk to them and see what they have to say.
So, Oberon is putting poof nuptials back on the agenda, is he? When will those blasted elves realize marriage is about procreation, not pleasure or passion? Can't these queers be happy with what they have? Used to shoot them on sight barely a century ago.
So yeah, see, very in-your-face dialogue. Again, I have no problem with it. I think it's fine when a game addresses an issue like this. But it's also doing it in a way that you're not like, aha, yeah, he sure is right. You're like, wow, that guy really is a dick. So I really don't have an issue with it. Again, if you are very sensitive to that type of thing, you might want to think about that before you pick it up. But again, I think it's fine, and I think I actually applaud their bravery and dealing with these topics in the way that they're doing it. You can also check your overview, shows you your population rating or reputations with various races, show you your choices on the choices you've done in the past as far as politics. It also shows how much of an impact it had on the various races, all your basic stat stuff here. That's just game. Oh, real quick, just because I know people like to look at the options. There is some basic options. You can change the quality. There really doesn't need to be a lot here, but what I think I do like, and I know this might seem weird, that I like this, is I love a lot of audio settings. I like being able to change everything separately. I hate when they put like everything as one audio. Because sometimes, like, well, I want the music low, but I want the combat sounds low, but I want the speech up, right? So I really like when companies give you a lot of different audio settings. And again, I realize that's kind of weird. But that is pretty much it. That has been Divinity Dragon Commander. Again, it's by Larian Studios. It'll be available August 6th on Windows only right now. I don't know if there's any plans for a Mac port or a Linux port. It's $39.99 on Steam. Same price from the developer site. Again, if you buy it from the developer site, you do get a DRM free copy and they give you a Steam key. Oh, the multiplayer, I want to talk about that real quick. The multiplayer was actually a lot of fun. The games can last from anywhere from an hour to 5 to 6 hours, depending on the size of the map that you play on. You can save the multiplayer files so that if, especially those long games, you play an hour or two, you're like, man, let's play this again tomorrow. You can save the game, and then whenever you pick it up again, the host can load that file and just pick up from where you left off. In fact, we had to do that at one point when I was playing with one of the developers, and it worked completely fine. So that was really cool. Definitely check this out if you're into RTS, especially if you're want like another level on top of the RTS. I like the politicking part. You're trying to make everybody happy, but it's pretty much impossible. So I really like that part. So definitely check out Divinity Dragon Commander. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please like my videos, leave comments, let me know what you're thinking, and I will see you next time.